up here in EU, and that's where the action will be starting today at DreamHack Open Summer. Two Titans are colliding in our first Group A upper bracket matchup in the form of world number ones Big and rising Danish stars Heroic. Of course, joining me to break down all the action today are the ones from Potter and, of course, Maui Snake. Alex, it's your first time coming over to the EU side of life here at DreamHack Open Summer. Is this the match you were hoping to be delving into?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's no two better teams to jump in with. Big, the number one team in the world right now, just coming off hot at CS Summit, where they took home the championship over Vitality in the grand finals. And Heroic, a team that has kind of been on the up and up. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from the individuals on this team. I feel like they're finally gelling together, and they are coming out with some great strategies and execute, which I'm sure is thanks much to Hunden. God Hunden,
yeah.
Of course.
Exactly, the big brains behind the big machine. And if you guys are rooting for Heroic, make sure to put it down in Twitch chat. Please vote for who you think is going to be winning this best of three series. Put hashtag big if you think it's going to be the world number ones, or put hashtag Heroic if you think, I guess, the underdogs, if you will, coming into this matchup might be the ones taking it. But let's start off by talking about the big boys from the big clan. Of course, the current world number ones, as you mentioned, Alex, but I think it comes with a little bit of a caveat coming into this matchup. Potter, we did see them actually get a little bit tested by Endpoint in their first matchup of the tournament, didn't we?
They did get tested, and you know, I think that attributes to the player break, the players coming in a little bit rusty. The one good thing that Big have going for them, though, is the amount of layers that they have. So even though the players weren't hitting on all cylinders, they weren't as crazy as they were pre-player break, they still have those layers to enable them to stay within the game. You're going to see Xantares constantly re-peeking with the flashbangs behind him to assist them to find those frags. You're going to see Searson going out with the scout, going out with the AWP, looking for the entries, and he is successful more often than not with those multi-kills. So with these things in mind for Big, they are already kind of inherently at an advantage because they have so much depth that they had prepared all that hard work leading up to this event. All of 2020, they're looking really good.
Yeah, and I think it kind of goes to say that they are the current reigning DreamHack Open. Oh no, excuse me, they're not. Actually, it was in Anaheim that we saw Gen G take the win, but they did take a win in Leipzig earlier this year. And as you said, Potter, it was Searson, which was the name on our lips. Alex, is this the player you're kind of going to be looking towards?
Yeah, Xantares is, he's just so incredible at a couple of things in this game. At Summit, he looked like the best player in the world as an entry fragger when he was rushing out that monster tunnel. I don't know if we're going to be seeing Overpass today, but there's a couple of things that Xantares does that there's just no one better, no one that you would rather have, because this man, he is a flying turret. He can just swing out wide and just take multiple heads off in such quick succession. This guy can use 5 bullets and kill 3 people very consistently, more so than practically anyone in the server. And so you love to see his mechanical skill on display. Man, it feels like he's finally gelling with this team.
Yeah, he is not the person that you want to be running up against in a 1v1 on the server, definitely not. And of course, they haven't actually played a match since Saturday, so they have plenty of time to be practice and preparing coming into this matchup. And we actually had a chat with Toby, Big's coach, ahead of this game.
Worth mentioning Thomas's tag, but it doesn't matter. Finds the shot through. Keto with 2 though. 1 more needed and there's only one.
Feels really good. Of course, it would feel better if the whole pandemic thing was not going on and we could compete against every team, also against the American teams, but still we are really happy with our performance.
It's one hell of a start, and Surreal playing the hero rifle in this round is going to try and play off of this 1 kill. Xantares though with the monster spray down.
Yeah, these teams are, I think they are all like really good teams. Yeah, they have some specific things, every team on its own, and it's it's like a fight in every game. I think they are really strong, both like Heroic and Mad Lions. Also, the Danish teams are all of the Danish teams are really strong, and some are really tough to play. Yeah, they have really good fundamentals. They have a good understanding of the game. Great players, great strategies and approaches. Yeah, it's always a tough game. Yeah, thank you. Bye bye. Yeah.
The Danes are to be feared. Some wise words there from Toby. And moving over to the other side of the server, that is where we are going to be seeing the Danish squad take to the stage. It's, of course, Heroic. And Christine, this was one of the few matchups that we saw throughout this week that's actually only gone to 2 maps. They obviously faced up against Mad Lions in a bit of a Danish derby. And these guys did look pretty convincing, didn't they?
They did. And really, it's all thanks to Cadian, man. He had some monstrous stats in that match that you're talking about, Freya. A 1.61 rating, over 95 ADR, plus 26 in his rating. These stats are incredible. 10 plus opening kills for Cadian. So certainly that helped out, making it look so lopsided, but also the approach from Heroic. It was pretty flawless. We had Staven, just taking up so much map real estate across the board. Heroic, they seem to be utilizing their players really well. Now that they have Testis on the board, they can send both of these 2 youngsters, these 2 young gun riflers into the mix, send them into the map, and it frees up a lot of space for Cadian. So really, their recipe right now for Heroic, it's an exciting one, and it's jam-packed with a lot of frags across the board.
Yeah, I love how you bring up Cadian there, because he is such an instrumental part of this team's success. And I think something that we were kind of chatting about before, Alex, was their RMR result. They obviously placed 4th there. What did you kind of glean from their performance? Was there anything you're particularly excited to see them bring today?
Yeah, there's a couple things, actually. The first is Nico. This guy has been on fire for this team. Cadian was the hero in the last BO3 for them, but Nico at CS Summit put up one of the best ratings at the entire tournament. I think he was in the top 5 at least. I know he posted up a 1.18 at that tournament and was instrumental in a lot of the rounds where maybe the Heroic game plan wasn't going according to plan. We know that Hunden brings excellent strategy to this team, but when things aren't working for them, when the smokes maybe aren't all lined up, Nico is a player that can just break down the opponent's strategy and make something out of absolutely nothing.
Well, touching on Hunden there, obviously the mastermind behind so many teams, Mad Lions included, who they did manage to beat earlier in the tournament. We had a chance to chat with him ahead of this matchup to see what he's going to be bringing to the game.
I'm really happy for like the results between us and Mad Lions. It seems like they have some struggles right now, and like I know they will fix them at some point, but right now it looks like a little bit of a struggle. And now they go from Danish to English as well, and I think they'll have some issues in the beginning. But in the end of the day, I'm pretty sure that both Azilian and Peacemaker can make it work out, but it will take some time, that's for sure. The fight for the second place in Denmark has been up for a long time now, and like it seems like we got it right now. But I know Mad Lions will try to fight back sooner or later for that spot.
He's just going to hold the angle. So aggressive.
Going up against Big is going to be a tough one for us. Like, we're going to prepare like we prepare for every other team, even though they're number 1 in the world right now. We are going to do it in a way like we would meet every other team in the world, so we're prepared for them.
Well, he's just going to nail the second as well and closes it out with the triple. 5-1 for Heroic. A fantastic start.
Preparation is the name of the game for Hunden, and that is a pretty dangerous thing for you to be hearing. But before we jump into the game, I think it is time to take a look at what maps we are going to be playing out on. Potter, can you kind of start us off with what your expectations are for this?
Yeah, I think we're going to see Big vetoing out Train here. Heroic should be vetoing out that overpass. Now, the big question here is, will Big pick out that Dust 2? We saw them do that in their last series. It does seem to be the map that they lean towards, and that Inferno coming out for Heroic. The one thing I thought Heroic might try to gamble with was potentially picking out that Vertigo first, but they do decide to go with their strength, their comfort pick, which is that Inferno. So this is a pretty straightforward map veto, I think.
Yeah, what are you making of this one, Alex? Because we were talking about it a bit before, and you sort of said you feel like Heroic are very well prepared coming into this match.
Yeah, I would have similarly liked to see them play Vertigo, pick that, because Endpoint laid out the blueprint for how to actually beat a team like Big on that map. But Inferno is a map that Big has historically not been as strong as, and I think this veto actually goes exactly to the plan of Heroic.
Well, I think there's only one chance, one thing left to do, rather, and it's a chance for you guys to make your predictions. Alex, I'm coming to you first because I think you've got a kind of spicy one for us.
Yeah, I'm going to trust the prep from Hunden. I'm going to go with Heroic here. I feel like Big have come out a little bit flat out the gates, and Heroic, though, they're looking really strong.
Potter, are you going to be echoing that?
Oh man, I really want to, but I'm gonna go with Big here. I think Xantares, he's a beast. Tito with that double op, it's a recipe for success. So I'm going with Big here.
Yeah, I think they have just about managed to shake off the rust, and they're going to be returning to the form we saw them of before the player break. I'm going to be going with Big as well, but I'm also very interested to see where our Twitch fan predictions have landed us for this one, because I'm thinking they might be favoring. They are indeed. They're going to be favoring Big. They're coming out in their droves. Unfortunate for Heroic. I do think it's going to be going to the full 3 maps, but we've got our teams, we have got our maps, and now all that is left to do is jump straight into our game. It's shaping up to be a huge one to kick off the day as the Danes of Heroic take on world #1's Big to decide who is going straight through to Saturday's semi-final. Join us back for all the action after this.
Hello and welcome back to the DreamHack Summer Open 2020. My name is Risk. Alongside me is Tom Biz, and we're going to be your guides for this very, very spicy matchup between the Germans and the one Turkish player of Big Clan versus, of course, the Danes from Heroic. And Tom, how are you feeling about this one?
I'm really excited. I think this is going to be an absolute banger of a game. I think we have Big obviously coming in as the world #1, but having a little bit of a shakier start to the tournament. If anything, probably should have lost versus Endpoint. I know that I'm a little bit biased being from the UK, but they were on the brink of going out in that first match and ended up coming back and smashing them on Mirage. And then Heroic could just look stellar, but we don't really know whether or not that's them looking amazing or Mad Lions looking a little bit dicey.
Santaros usually with the P2K. Gets the first one as well in this round. Arcadian Susan in good position. And already now this is looking great for Big Clan.
They do at least get the trade, and that should give them control of the site. You can see Zontaras, he was tempted. He wanted to go through that smoke. He wanted to take the risk, but instead waits for the rest of his team. Keto a little bit further behind. The nade even going to be dunked in, but doesn't actually do any damage whatsoever. Nico's going to be the man to watch, though. This pit position so valuable, especially once they try and cross past Tesses. I think that's when he begins to peak. That's when he begins to take these challenges. It is taking Big a little bit of extra time, though. And by the looks of it, they don't actually have a kit available to them. So they need to get going. Down is actually going to be blinded off, and that gives them the kill onto Tesses. They get onto the bomb already, and it's left all onto Nico. Nothing he can do. Superb retake from Big, and that is going to give them the pistol round.
Not a lot of time to spare, but it doesn't matter. They get the diffusion. Big 1-0 up. And Tom, of course, our lovely analyst on the desk, had their predictions. You now get to see the pistol round on map 1 as well. What would you predict for this matchup?
I think it's going to be a 2-1, whichever way it goes. But just because it's Dust 2 and Nuke, I'm going to go with Big. Just because I think on Nuke recently, their results have been incredible. And obviously, we haven't really seen them play yet in this tournament. And they did look a little bit rusty. But I'm going to go with the world #1, which isn't the boldest prediction I've ever made.
Yeah, it seems like the logical choice at this point. I'm going to go the other way.
With the Danes, yeah?
And swing with Heroic. And the reason that I'm doing that is they kind of had... Nah, I think they had the choice of playing something in the third map that they felt confident on. And I think they wouldn't want to play Nuke against Big, who are, like 7 winning streak on it right now. They wouldn't want to play that map unless they have something for them. And I know Hunden, I know Kadian, they have something special planned for this third map. I'm pretty sure it's going to end on the third map as well. I'm pretty sure it's going to be 2-0, 2-1 as well. Big is definitely going to win Dust 2, but when it comes to Nuke, my bet is on Heroic.
Well, that would be the real statement, because we've already seen Big come very, very close on Dust 2 versus Endpoint. So if we can see Heroic like pinpoint what has actually gone on, maybe the holiday was actually just an analytical holiday from Hunden, where he was just sat there breaking everything down. It is possible. Now, we have seen an investment here. Now, there's a lot of SMGs currently in play, but that doesn't stop Citizen getting a headshot down the bottom of mid. And Keto, somewhat trapped in this corner. They know he's here, but that doesn't mean they can stop him. A lot of damage done. Tapson even peeks out to take one more out. And there are still a couple of AKs, but at the moment, it seems like they've got Big's name on them.
Yeah, the timing on that swing from Tapto was absolutely perfect. Not only does he help Keto out and actually does a lot of damage, he will die, not almost die in the Molotov, but the swing timing was perfect. They now have a big advantage here. Santares should be able to end this one off with 2 nice kills. That's going to be a 2-0 on the back of, yes, an investment or not for Heroic. So this should be a pistol eco. Expect Tech 9, Deagle, maybe some utility.
Yeah, I feel like this is one of the maps where the second round T-side force is probably at its weakest, just because the whole point is you want to be taking a lot of jewels, and utility's king on Inferno. That's something we've seen for a long time. In fact, some of the time I actually quite like seeing the pistols with a lot of grenades coming up instead, because just the way that you can get around to that A side of the apartment. Very aggressive push though, and well, although they're technically a flash assist, I don't think they really made too much of a difference for Keto. Farming up some extra cash, and as we've already seen, he's been playing fantastically well in this tournament so far. And that's one of the caveats I actually have for Big within this series. The one man that was very quiet was Tizian. Now, the fact that they managed to go through and still win that game, even with him having probably one of the worst performances we've seen in a while, really shows the depth of this Big roster and how he's not really needed. That's a really nice shot from Nico. But at the same time, okay, I'm going to shut up. Nico, you've pulled me away from my point. I'm going to start focusing on you just headshotting people with this Deagle because this is costly now.
This is something that Nico just can seemingly pull out of nowhere. These kind of Deagle plays, they come every once in a while for him. Let's see if he can get the crossfire correct. Nah, Tizian is sitting in the angle. Perfect placement. And there's going to be no way. But still 2 weapons removed from Nico and his Deagle there. But yeah, I totally agree with you as well. It seems like Big, they can have a situation where 4 out of the 5 players are just on point. And then it doesn't really matter if Tizian has a tough game, because if you have 4 out of 5 players just going absolutely ham, there's nothing the opponents can do really.
Yeah, especially with the caliber of the players they have. I think the rise of Searson has been something that we've seen. Like, he was always a very good player within like the likes of Sprout alternate attacks. Like, he was talented, there was no doubt about it, but he has definitely hit a new level being within this system and not always needing to be the main man. Well, basically doing the job. We saw that Zontares, when he played Mirage versus Endpoint, was unstoppable. There was nothing that they can do. We're seeing still a few weaknesses within this nice flash, but it is only going to be the 1 kill. And they actually try and capitalize off of this. Nico with a second entry. He was highlighted by the desk as someone to watch, having some great performances. And actually an uncharacteristic missed shot from Searson is going to give the site over to Heroic.
Even though it doesn't work out for them and it actually ends up in Big saving their weapons this round, the setup that they made towards the apartment this time around was actually really interesting. So they kind of get the information that at least there's 2 T players present in the apartments. So they rotate 3 players towards the bomb site and flashbang 1 player in to take the first duel. Then they have 2 players on the side ready to take the battle when it actually comes. And as you pinpointed, it's only due to a rare miss, which you don't usually see from Searson, that this actually doesn't work out for them. So I like this kind of style from Big, where they identify where the opponents are, where they can hit them just before they execute, and try to surprise them, try to grab them on the bed. So very nice idea. Doesn't work out in reality due to maybe some low lights individually from some of the players in Big, but the idea was actually really nice.
Well, nonetheless, it is going to be Heroic now onto the board, and I think the money from Big isn't awful, like especially because Searson can realistically get an AWP. We can see a couple of guns juggled over. Sure, it'll be Zontares on a FAMAS, but not really the end of the world, especially with the opportunity to hurt Heroic straight back. Although they did keep that one relatively clean. 4 players surviving. It was only the risk really taken by Nico that ended in his demise. But if you look at the current scoreboard, he's the only one who's actually done too much so far.
Look at this. 4-man stack towards B in the beginning for the CT side, and only 1 player left alone, and that's Searson on his own with the AWP. But now, rotation comes in. Searson taking a bit of damage, but now the rotation has come from Zontares. He's holding long. They got the normal setup 3-2 split. Ooh, shot from Cadian though.
I like this. This is like a rogue Cadian, excludes the pun again because that is his old team. But he's just running around, just taking jewels, an almost old style of AWPing, something you don't see as much anymore because of the risk of having to jump into those angles. But he's going to get the opening.
Yeah, they do have 2 smokes left, so there could be definitely a smoke for this position. And it lands. Smoke for, I guess the English call out is Moto. So So there we go. That smoke totally denies the retake. 4v3 retake is not going to happen. Nicely done.
Yeah, we're seeing a relatively safe big so far. Obviously, the A site is the one where a lot of the time we do see teams challenge for retakes a little bit more, especially with the amount of utility they have. But I guess in these early stages, just realizing, okay, we don't want to take too many risks. We don't want Heroic getting off to a fantastic start on their T side, especially knowing that, if anything, this is the map that we expect Big to lose, like, especially with their sort of form on it in comparison to some of the others. Like, you look at the stats on like a Dust2 and Nuke, and they are a lot better than when it comes to Inferno, and being one of Heroic's best maps as well. But at the same time, because they've been saving, sure, they're getting more buys on the board, but the economy for the Danes is starting to get a little bit scary. They have got a lot of cash considering they've only won 2 rounds.
We're going to need to see something now from Susan. We're going to need to see something crazy. And he has a front spawn from mid. He could take that early duel. Let's see if he goes for it. It's only going to be the angle, not the full jump in. Smoke lands toward long. Behind him, he'll stay and take this angle. This is actually really, really aggressive from his AWP. Tizian is holding his left angle on towards the boiler area. Will he get the frag onto Cadian? This is a duel. Oh, the timing. Unfortunate for both players. Tessus will grab the frag onto Tizian.
Yeah, of course, Tizian. You could say he's going to play a bit riskier in these sort of rounds, the same as Zontaras, just because they do only have P250s. It's half the team, or I guess 2/5 of the team, currently saving just to make sure they have a buy into the next round. Deep Molotov. Expended and Stown finds Fearsome for free. A peek through the edge and leaves just one defender. Is Keto alone. As I said, he had a very good first match. Now he has to try and do a little bit more. First kill go this way, and he gets back around the corner. He gets another 1v1 fight. Keto, he's isolating these duels. And that is now 3 for 3. Now just has to try and buy some time. Nico's already made the cross, and he hits the headshot again. This is a ridiculous round from Keto. Only one man standing, looking for the ace, but he runs out of bullets. It doesn't matter. Zontaras is there to clean things up. Keto is a monster.
Once again, Keto steps up to the plate and just demolishes the opposition. And sadly, once again, behind every big play, there is a misplay, and the misplay is from Heroic side, because they just go in 1-1-1, and they have no utility left. So they just give him these duels. Yes, Keto hits every single shot perfectly, but Heroic could just have swamped him. They didn't do that. Something was wrong in their communication. Something didn't work out as it was intended. Nice little jump boost there from Sisson. And then Keto is just such a good player, and he has such phenomenal aim that if you give him that chance, he's going to take that every single time and punish you.
Not even sure I was quite ready for a play like that so early on in this series. It was needed though. That was a play where they only had, well, I guess 2 weapons at that point. And that was a chance for Heroic to continue to build. As already said though, they did have a lot of money, so it's not the end of the world for the Danes. They are going to be able to buy back into this one, and if they can win another straight back, it will be another awkward purchase for Big if they even decide to go for it. So they're not out of the woods just yet, but Keto's done a damn good job of setting them up.
So now towards Banana, hit the shot on Cadian. Secondary AWP picked up by Stout, who is also a great secondary AWP. Make no mistake, but I don't think he's going to be good enough to battle up against Susan. He will take down Keto though. 3v3.
I'm quite surprised he managed to get away with that, with the positioning. Tessus spotted the player in the graveyard, but that's a bit of a whiff, and Tizian just surviving here is going to be really irritating. Nico spamming him through, though, and good teamwork to clear out that spot. Now, Tabson's basically taking the initiative to push a little bit more aggressive. It seems like they might have an idea that he's here. Tessus! Oh, that's really awkward, and then he misses as well. What's just happened? Oh, everything's gone wrong for Tabson.
So unfortunate.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
But yeah, we see Tess as one of these players, like, coming into the Danish scene very, very early on in his pro career. This guy, like, he has only played for as a slight time as a stand-in on Uptake and then in Copenhagen Flames before being picked up on this team. But he's been a talent for the last 2 years that everyone has had their eyes on, and his development has been really, really, really good. From playing under the leadership of Heste, a guy who used to be an analyst for back when SK Gaming was around with the Danish team, and also helped Astralis a bit. He's been very good in the development of Danish players, and Tessus has been one of those guys coming through that team. And now he's on the pro scene. In my opinion, one of the better all-around support-ish players in Denmark. Of course, a role that Sipnix really started showing that can be very important in a team. Tessus is the same kind of player. And I expect in a few years' time, I think he might be even on like a similar path that Sipnix was on when he came into the scene and really started hitting it big back in the early Astralis and TSM days, even before Astralis.
So basically what you're saying is right now, if you're North, you're pissed. Because he's got Heroic instead.
Yeah, but right now, if you're North, you're not even like third in Denmark. So, yeah.
And that's with Mad Lions making a change as well. So
yeah, that's
a bit of a rough one. I'm interested to see where they actually go with their roster, but
yeah,
I guess that's for another time. It's another position where there's a weak purchase. They did invest in this round big, and again, it's going to be Searson to start. Keto this time can't be the hero. However, there's a gap in the smoke, and the boost up gives both Searson and Tamsin another kill. We're up in Cadian alone. Gonna be tough. They should be able to get the bomb down, but they're actually waiting a little bit. Now, without much utility, a single Molotov and a flash, this is actually quite risky because they basically have to try and kill off some of these players or get the bomb down within the mix of all of these people.
Yeah, Heroic right now banking on like Big making a mistake, but Big, they're playing very disciplined. Yes, they're allowing them at the bomb plant, but they're making sure that no one over peaks. When they go into the site, they're going to do it together. They're going to do it as a unit. And yeah, it's just not possible.
A nice attempt from Cadian, but unfortunately he doesn't bait out the shot that he wanted. I always get flashbacks to those like, I think it's Tarek screaming, take the shot, take the shot. It doesn't happen this time. Nice one dig from Zontaras, but I'll be honest, he hit so many of those that it's not even that much of a surprise anymore. And it will be 5-3. So Big have now won 2 rounds where the majority of their players, well, maybe not the majority, but either 2 of their players didn't have weaponry, or in this case, the majority of their players didn't have weaponry. So it's a bit of an unfortunate start for Heroic because they're not actually capitalizing on the victories that they are getting in a lot of these buy rounds.
Yeah, that's true. But also, I feel like even when they are playing rounds with, let's say, 2 pistol players or something like that, Big, they're still playing very disciplined and they're playing the rounds as if they had 5 weapons. It's very small chances that they're taking, maybe early on in the round or maybe peeking in aggressively for like 5-10 seconds. And also you can see it in their retakes, like they're very disciplined, which is a rare sight to see when you're coming straight off like a holiday period and players are just kind of eager to get in the game. So I'm really loving this from Big right now, the discipline.
Molotov doesn't actually clear Keto. Are they going to check for this? They will, but it doesn't matter. He hits the shot anyway. Barup, however, quick on the trade, and there's Zontaras peeking straight out to make sure that the man advantage is kept and even doubles it up to 2. Bomb down at the top of Banana Risk. This is looking like a done round.
Yeah, this is definitely not possible. Nico will have to pull out something. Yeah, Insane doesn't even cover it. And I don't think that's going to be possible.
Well, yeah, he had a good start to the game, but actually over the last few rounds, I think he was 7-4. He's now 7-6, so quietened down a little bit. But I felt like a lot of the time he's put to use trying to do some damage over to this A site. Now, Cadian on 11 HP, they might actually just give him the bomb, which it would be nice of them. It
but
gives
then again,
him a small chance.
It's the thing with Big. They'll play the correct call. Like, they'll play the advantage every single time. They know that they have damage onto one of the opponent's players. They know they have a 4v2 situation. That means if they split 2-2, they will still have a decent advantage. And they're just playing the numbers right now. And once again, it's the discipline coming in. They're not taking any chances. No one is pushing. No one is trying to get an extra kill or anything. They know that still the money on their side is not too great to go hunting. So they're just holding their positions in a very standard split. It might be a bit boring, but it will definitely win them rounds.
Well, I think that's what they need on this map.
Yeah.
As said, like this is one that it's not one of their better maps, but at the same time, I wouldn't sit there and go that they can't win it. Like, they definitely can. They've shown just off individual brilliance. I think as well on the CT side, the way that Searson is able to just maneuver around, and well, if Keto keeps playing as well as he has, it's going to be tough. And we're looking at the same thing. They have 4 players performing to a very high standard. Tizian's still having impact in individual rounds as well. And that's why we're going to see Heroic actually take a tactical pause. And from what we've seen so far, like, they could very easily be in the lead if they just manage to beat out one of these anti-eco rounds.
Oh, there's not a lot between these two teams, I feel like, at this current moment. I feel like Big, they haven't really made any mistakes yet. And in some of the rounds, Heroic are making choices that are kind of banking on Big making mistakes. And that's simply just not happening. So Big are just playing very standard CS, very thoughtful, and they're hitting all the shots they need to. They're not doing anything too spectacular. And that's exactly what they need to do.
But the other thing as well is we're now starting to see buys from Heroic that are not particularly pretty ones. Now, you have to remember, going into this round, they had 2 saved AKs. They bought 1 more, come up with some pistols, and I don't have a lot of faith in this buy. They're going to have to be some pretty tasty shots hit. Even in terms of economy, Big are now starting to gain a little bit, as you mentioned. Like in the last round, they made sure that they kept 4 players alive, which, well, almost as good as it gets in terms of financial building. So they need to at least do damage in this round, Heroic, and ideally they want to be winning it.
Down here, gonna play the role as the entry as they go in towards this B bomb site, which has 3 big players currently. So this is a 3-player stack onto B, which is the correct call in this very round. Molotovs are raining in. Keto on the boost position will get the first one. Santaris with the secondary. Tessus is falling as well. This is not working out for Heroic. Big clan, they're holding it tight, and the round will end. Taps in with a double as well. Very nicely done.
Yeah, I like how they're saving all their incendiaries as well for the push. So it just makes things awkward. Like, a lot of the time on the B side of Inferno, you see either individual players isolated or 2 players through the fire, 2 players in the fire, maybe 1 behind it as well. And you see it there again, where Heroic are having to try and clear an angle for Keto. Then they have to deal with Zontares. And all in the meantime, they have to worry about the flames and the fact that Tab's been spamming through the smoke. So a good setup, good read. And so far, well, we haven't really seen the magic of Hunden when it comes down to like setting up the strategies, because it seems like in terms of the round so far, Big have been all over it.
It also seems like Big has got a read on what Heroic were doing. This exact round, where the round before, where Heroic wanted to do a quick play with utility and 3 weapons onto B. They had 3 players stacked towards B. It seems like they got the number right now. So this is, of course, a problem that Heroic they have to challenge at some point. This is not going to be the round.
Now.
Yeah, it's going to be an eco round.
They've got a 4-man stack with an aggressive banana hold. So again, the read is spot on.
And also, let's just wait and see what happens in this. There was we see them rotate back. There was a very early nade thrown by the mid player from Big that actually bounced down all the way into second mid and was on like a 2-second window timing from hitting Tessus and doing like 90 damage. So they also knew kind of what they wanted to do early round before the setup into mid, and that's why that pre-nade comes in. Now the read comes in as well, taps and rotates, so that now they split 2-3 as usual. Like, Big tactically have just got the number right now of Heroic. They know exactly what's going on.
I like
yes, Wilson is rotating, but he's gonna go the second he hears nothing on Banana communicated by his teammates, he's gonna hold long. They got everything locked down. Like, this is no chance. I know this is an eco, but Big are just reading Heroic right now.
Yeah, I feel like there were a lot of moments in that round where maybe timing could have worked out for them, but no, it seemed like in the end, it's very, very clean. We're talking about finances once again, but it has built up to the point where Big can easily get another buy round. And 8-3 scoreline on the map choice of Heroic on the CT side, you got to start to worry for the Danes.
Yeah, I'm starting to worry for my prediction. Can I change my prediction, Tom? Can I go 2-0? Can I go 2-0 Big now? Because this is looking very good. I'm very impressed by Big, I have to say. This aggressive play doesn't work out, and it's kind of unfortunate. Down was completely blind, but he still lands a shot. This is a round that Heroic has to win. They cannot let it from go to Santaris. To the flashbang, doesn't care. 2 frags. And once again, from an advantage. And now the downer player. This is very unfortunate for Heroic. And I guess all the Big fans in the chat are going crazy right now, because this is a round they should have no business in having an advantage in, at least. But Santaris makes it happen nonetheless.
Ooh, that could be important, though, especially now that the A site is completely open. Of course, this is something that they do not know. And And actually, we're still seeing a bit of a fake seemingly thrown in by Cadian, which will pull off all the remaining players. Zontaras hasn't spotted a push, so he's going to start running the gauntlet back, and he should actually beat
he's going to beat
site.
Orb.
But the health is the main advantage. 100 for Barup.
Can he actually drop down a smoke towards apartment? No, it's not going to be timed. Now he's just going to hide.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll be expecting anybody to be on this angle either. And they're still waiting for the rotation. There should still be a trade here, even with the HP. That's the thing. 19 HP for Zontaras. If he manages to get both of these kills, then, well, I really am going to be panicking if I'm a Heroic fan, because he shouldn't be able to get away with anything here. 20 seconds left on the clock. The Molotov for Barb is so perfect, though, and that should be the round.
Yeah, that's quite interesting, because in that position, Barb is the one with the Molotov. He can choose to either Molotov the bike area of pit, of the graveyard area. And to be honest, like, if I was a lone CT player guarding that entire bomb site and having to rotate in, I would pick graveyard as well. And that's exactly what Bob thought also. So nice little situation there from him, using the Molotov correctly, guessing the position of the opponent. Susan will be forced to save, but money-wise, it's not really a big problem. They have a lot of money on the German side.
Well, we mentioned this being a crucial round for them to win, and although it was a little bit up and down with the Zontaras double, definitely making things interesting. Heroic do get things over the line, and if they can get to like a 5-6 rounds, it's definitely still doable on the CT side. The worry for me is how close this became, and also the change that we saw from Big, because they've been very passive so far, and that's been working for them. We've seen them sitting pretty much all the way back on the B side, like the boost being employed at the back of the site as well. This was one of the first rounds we've seen them fully aggress, and it doesn't work. So I wonder if they'll now just fall back, and especially with a double AWP currently in play, I wouldn't be overly surprised. We see that 4-man early stack again, though.
Yeah, it's the stack to counter a quick banana play, which Heroic has done a lot, and we saw one of the rounds they tried to do it as well. So I kind of like the idea of just throwing a lot of utility to counter the quick play and then hold like defensive on the side. Once again, they're split into a standard 3-2. So it's a good idea if you have the kind of extra strength and extra utility to kind of put some nades in early on and know you can deny the space of the opponents towards the banana if they have a tendency of going towards that area early. I kind of like it. Doesn't really do that much damage, but you just need one round where it's crazy.
That's a little bit awkward for Sears and gets caught by Tessus. He's had a few of these impactful openers. Zontaras, though, this is what we like to watch. Can he get the timing right? No, in fact, he's going to have to fall all the way back. Arch control will be lost. The flashbang is spot on, though. And he does manage to get away with a kill. The problem is, in the meantime, they've wiped out the site. And again, I think Big are just going to make the decision to save. It's something they've done very regularly, and I have to say I quite like it, because it means that we've not really seen them have, a complete eco all the way through this half.
One thing we now also have to focus on for Big side is that the B hold is very good. Everything they do on B, I think, is working out fine. I like the early banana aggression. I like the way that they played in a 2-2 split, a 2-3 split. It's A that's the problem right now. And I'm not sure if they should play more heavy towards the apartments, if they should play Susan more towards the archway, because right in this run on short definitely didn't work out. But they need to change something about their airplay, their airplay. So yeah, it comes down to if you want to take a tactical timeout, or if you think you have a few small fixes that the in-game leader can just throw out and get those to go in the next round. Let's wait and see.
Yeah, I think the main issue has actually been a lot of their aggressive plays. Like, even on Banana, it hasn't been massively successful with the pushes, but also into apartments. Like, we've seen now a few times where Citizens tried to get aggressive in apartments, and it normally ends up in him having to fall back, take another angle, and most of the time either he gets overwhelmed or Tizian gets picked off, and then it's left basically, okay, can Zontaras get a multi-frag, which he is 14-6, so he's done a pretty good job so far, but if he doesn't...
This is what I like. This is the change that they needed. Now, going into second mid, seeing if they can find something. They don't get any kills, but they get a lot of information that there's not a huge second mid presence early on. That means that they're going to rotate one player towards CT. The bomb is currently moving towards the banana, so let's wait and see if that's going to be the correct choice. I would guess that Heroic at this point are going to make noise banana and then rotate back and go for a full A split with the smoke towards Moto, flash towards the side, Molotov towards pit. But let's wait and see. I think that's the play right now. Tizian should rotate back. But he's actually staying on B. This is peculiar.
Well, I'm interested to see whether or not... I was about to say, if Tizian's going to commit to this angle, because he was playing around the cubby. Instead, going to go for the re-peek into Arch, and Cadian's just waiting for him. Now there's only one defender within this A site, and well, it's basically that same scenario I mentioned before. You kind of need a multi-frag, and this is the man to do it. Tizian is also gone. It's left all onto Zontares within that pit, but they haven't yet cleared him. There comes Nico out of the apartments to put him down. And yeah, this A site has been the pressure point now for Heroic, and it's working. They've come from what looked like a fairly weak half all the way up to potentially 6, although Tabson does manage to find one and a second as well. This becomes interesting, but Keto's very far behind.
Yeah, they have to save the weapon still, but doing some economical damage, maybe some Molotov down towards the bottom of the pit to deny some HP. He's going to wait here and throw it.
I think they're going.
It's actually quite early. They're still going for it. Okay.
Yeah, Barup's going to catch one, and now that's the moment where they have to leave. I think it almost gave them a little bit of a false positive. That double kill from Tabson, well, I believe they could do it at that point. Unfortunately, the remaining couple of positions from Heroic were just too tough to clear.
It's unfortunate for Big because the early angle from Searson, if he'd stayed there for like 2 or 3 more seconds, he would actually gotten a frag and then also gotten some idea that there was presence in that second mid area, that it was potentially gonna be the good old make noise banana and then go towards the split A. But he maybe felt a little bit afraid that he was gonna get sidetracked. But yeah, it doesn't work out this time around. Cyrus deep nade, no damage done at all. Bomb on T stairs. Let's focus on Cadian here.
I think he just managed to part the sea with that one in between both players. Tabson has now started to take a much more proactive role within Banana. As said, their aggressive plays have not been working out too much so far, and just a single bullet shot there would have been Tabson getting a kill, but it also would have given away his position. He's been spotted out by Stown, and it's a bit of an awkward fight. But it's the young Dane that comes out on top.
Tessis now. We get a flashbang. There's attention towards Long. Flashbang comes here from Nico, and now it's up to Tessis to do the entry. Oh, and there we go. Seriously, nice frag, but refrag from Nico. The potential is there. Cadian rushing in as well to getting Zontares, and now that A side is cleaned up. And once again, that shows the punch that Heroic just has when they're going in as a unit. It's not just one player going for the entry frag, and if he fails, the whole thing falls apart. No, there's a secondary entry. That's Nico. And then there's a rotation around from Cadian coming in as a third player to help out. And that's all around one area of the map. So they're really playing well together as a unit. And that seems to be a problem for Big right now. They can't really handle it on this A side. It hasn't worked out. And that's going to be the 7th round for Heroic, despite a great start for Big on this first half.
On top of me, and life gets hard to bear. I've got a certain remedy to live without a care. Waiting for the weekend to be who we were born to be. Let your body do the speaking. Only one thing can set you free. I choose D-A-N-C-E, move M-Y-F-E-E-T. Nothing means that much to There's always a dance floor to find, so lose yourself instead. Waiting for the weekend, everyone's in VIP. The city's ours for the taking. Let your head down and follow me. Waiting for the weekend, seeing fires underneath the feet. Hoping never lose the feeling, never lose the feeling. I just
Hello and welcome back to my favorite vacation spot in the world, the Inferno, where Heroic has currently taken camp on the CT side. They're looking to answer back onto what Big did in that first half on the T side. Let's wait and see. This is the pistol round coming up. And Nico's ready and waiting in the mid.
Oh, he's surely going to get closed down, Sis, and just blast his way up top mid. And you can already see Tessa starting to come under some pressure. The nade not doing too much, and the shots aren't either. He does get away with one, which is slightly more than maybe I expected, at least. Already Tizian with another. Cadian comes in off the back of the CZ. And they have to be careful. The big position here is going to be Sis, and shutting out one more, leaving it all onto Cadian. And it's going to be a 9th round for Big. A great start to them in the first half as well, but we did see a massive comeback over the last few rounds. I think it was 4 or 5 in a row, actually, for Heroic to bring it to an 8-7 scoreline. Of course, we talk about this map especially and the importance of getting a good start to your CT side. And while for Heroic, it's not really been the case, but I like the fact that they haven't overly invested here. A few deagles alongside some smokes was going to be great for delaying the time. Although, interestingly, there's only going to be one player on this B side, which is normally where the smokes reign supreme.
Here we go. It's going to be a quick push on towards long. Cadian has already rotated around. Try to hold this angle. Now 3 CT players on the bomb side. How's this going to work out? Close range deagles is never something you want to run into head first. He's trying to find Cadian, and he will be successful. Secondary player is down, and he'll take his head off clean. Santares spots one towards graveyard. Secondary player towards the side, and a third towards the small pit. Let's focus on Testes. 1, 2 with the deagle, but not the third one. We'll grab nothing as well, and yes, it will be expensive for Big, but it will be their round.
Yeah, and the problem is as well, although that was somewhat of a saved investment, there wasn't any Kevlar put in, and it was decent damage, which is probably the most important thing for Heroic. This can't really come up with a buy behind it. They would have to take some pretty big risks that I don't think anybody really wants to be seeing, especially with the 4-buy. Then again, if they can do that again, kill off 2 players or so, then they're going to be in a very good position going into their first buy round. However, Big likely to be 11-7 in the lead. And as this is the map that, if you're a Heroic fan, they need to win. Going into Dust 2, I don't think anybody would really be favoring them, although they can beat some like decent teams at that level. Big is another ball game altogether.
Oh yeah, they're an elite Dust 2 team. Pop flash into Boiler, and Stan will grab another headshot with the deagle. Tessus knows exactly what's going on, and he will actually grab one. That was almost through the wall. Fully flashed as well. Santaris trying to hold this one off, but this is the 5v3 situation. Yes, once again, still no pistol, still nothing else than pistols on the Heroic side. No AKs, no nothing. But this can work out for them. The bait of Borb jumping onto the side is perfect. That bait jump is so good. Down, we'll grab 2 here. There's no question about it. And I'm not even sure if it was intentional, but it works out so good, that bait jump from Borb.
Risk. They took 27 damage.
Yep.
They didn't have any guns. They just had pistols. They had no Kevlar. This round doesn't make any sense.
No.
Big have just almost given them a let-off. And you have to remember as well, they were saving to get a good buy. Now they've got a couple of weapons, or a couple of AKs even. They've got themselves a Mac 10, which, okay, saving that. But I'm not surprised at all the big have basically taken themselves a pause here, because we've seen a lot of interviews now from Toby, and he's a very like sort of positive German, I would say. He's spoken about how all of the other teams are fantastic, how he thinks everybody in this tournament is good, but at the same time, at this point, surely he's going, guys, what was that? Where's that come? Like, you can't be positive. Like, there's no way you can be sitting there going, don't worry, like, we're still in the lead. Like, you've got to be a little bit riled up after that round, because that is a big mistake.
Yeah, it's unfortunate in all areas of the round, and now it's going to be a very, very quick round towards the banana. Stown is here once again to make a mess of things. Gonna let them cross and then take the angles. Captain will be caught as well. Last player standing will be Titian. And yes, damage done, but it's going to be 3 rifles picked up for sure. Let's see, will Kaden get it? Yes. So 3 rifles picked up. And Heroic will be on their 9th round. Sehr gut.
And that was an investment as well. That was an investment from Big. So it's not like that was a round where, okay, we can just afford to do some damage and then we'll buy back up. This is now going to likely be 10-10. I don't want to say it will be after what we've just witnessed a couple of rounds ago.
It's 4 o'clock.
I can't be certain in anything anymore. Yeah, but still. There's a Tara's Deagle.
Yeah, I rate that the probability of winning a 4 Glock round compared to like 4 Deagles and P250 round, I rate that as a big difference.
Yeah, but Zontara's Deagle counts as 4 Deagles.
And
but he's dead, so it's fine. But maybe Keto will pick it up, and then who knows?
Yeah, who knows? We'll wait and see.
We can't doubt Keto's Deagle after what we saw on day 1.
Once again, you are right. But let's wait and see. Oh well. Oh. That's a decent
couple of kills at least.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's a little bit of extra damage, but you can already see that Cadian has $11,000 going into this round.
Yeah, and
that's
he's gonna
the real
like
bonus that they got off of winning with basically nothing, is they were still saving cash already. So this is a pretty terrifying start to the CT side of Heroic, and I'll be honest, I think that Big have let them off here. They've given them away into this game that they maybe shouldn't have had.
Early flashbang towards Banana to take some control over the Molotov. Nade also down, denying the quick push. And now they're actually going to play... Okay, they're just going to leave the site? Yeah, should leave 1 CT or 1 B side and then play 4-1 after that early stack towards Banana with the multiple utility pieces. But still, this is a great situation if Big decides to head towards the A bomb side. If they have kind of an idea that Heroic has this tendency to play 1-4 against the fully barred up T-side team, then they'll pounce on this. Cadian has to hit this first shot. If this misses, the round is almost over. And a secondary from Cadian. Nate goes in, smoke to follow. The rotation comes from Stown.
Big risk taken by Cadian there, but they pay off, and well, he was one of the stars of the show in their match versus Mad Lions. He's looking at me once again, but he does miss and gets overwhelmed because of it. The site has to be given up, and almost versus 2 ensues as Ito gets tagged. They've actually picked up the AWP. Stown is tagged as well, but it doesn't really matter too much. They are starting to pick this one apart.
And once again, yeah, retake as a team. Show the discipline. Use the very limited pieces of utility you have left. The 4 kits. You don't have to waste all the time. Swing out 2 players so they all can challenge you. Very nicely done. Losing some players, yes, losing some economy, but they're still surviving with 3 players every single round. It's beautiful to see. It's kind of like what we saw from Big on that CT side. They're just playing very disciplined.
Yeah, these were some lovely shots. I think the second one is such a bold play to try and go for, especially when you're the solo player. Like, you have to consider in that situation, if Cadian gets the first, is traded, and then that's the site. That's a 4v4 retake for the remaining players of Heroic. So he has to make sure that he connects those shots. And for Big now, finances, again, not quite in play. But this is something I mentioned earlier. I feel like this is the map, especially with a decent amount of utility, lots of pistols, you can make things work. And they're going to go just barreling straight in. And with a 3-man stack initially on this B side of the map, there is a real chance that both Nico and Tessus can get overwhelmed. But The Danes are going to start things off strong. Tesses with a quick double. Nico from the pit. Now hard to clear without any utility. He's just going to hold this angle down. So Tara's looking for one with the deagle. And at least Dearson has managed to, again, do a little bit of damage. But as you mentioned, it always seems to be 3 players alive for Heroic. And it will be once again.
Yeah, they're going to get close to hitting the 16k cap in a few rounds if they keep doing this. This round, though, is going to be a full buy, and that's why Big are taking the time out. They want to make sure that this one is one they get to go. This is one they drive all the way home. Because if Heroic are allowed on 13 and Big will be bought down to maybe $500, $1,000 to spare, and maybe even a force buy in the next round, like, Heroic are going to win this map. If Big get this round now, it's 11-12. Anything can still happen. This match is still open. So a very, very important timeout. Nice time to take it. Still one left if everything goes awry, but good timing from Big. They need to get this one, though.
Well, taking the time to talk things over. Again, we are seeing a slower performance from Tizzy, and I think he's one of the players suffering a little bit more coming back from the break. Now, up to this point, it hasn't really been too much of an issue, but we are starting to see a few other players get slowed down, and look how aggressive this is. They're trying to disrupt the play, but it's similar to what we saw on Keto again. A triple spray down. He just has these explosive rounds out of nowhere. Goes in with the AWP. That's a quad kill as well. He's looking for his second attempt at an ace, I guess you could say.
Yeah, this is exactly what they needed. A big, big, big moment from one of the big players. Steps up to the plate and just hammers it home. Nico, yeah, at this point, like, they're probably going to go hunting.
Go on. He is going for it, I think. Oh, no, wait, he sat on the other side.
Yeah, he sat on this side, so.
Can you just run B, Nico? Run B. Oh, he's going to get caught out by Tizian. Again, it's a quad kill from Keto there. It's so valuable to the squad, and a sheer aggressive one as well. I do like the idea from Heroic. I don't think it's necessarily a bad one, especially when your opposition have taken a pause, throwing a round that they can't really plan for. Super aggressive push, but the fact is it doesn't really work, and Keto just completely shuts them down. They got the money, though, so it's not the biggest issue.
Kaden still has the AWP. Everyone has the utility. And the game keeps going. Keto now looking to open towards the banana. Gets the pop flash, but nothing spotted yet. Nico with a big angle on Santaris, but Keto answers back. Keto with a double. Should he make another triple? No, Borb denies him this time around. Switches up to the AWP.
He's managed to shut them out of the site, and well, the remaining players from Big are on completely opposite sides of the map. Habson tagged as well, and Tizian hoping to try and make a play. Now, there's only one player here, but it is Nico. And I'll be honest, out of all of the players within this Heroic roster, he's the man I'd most want solo holding a site.
Yeah.
Very smart individual.
Agree.
And a very well-placed position. Like, it almost looks easy because it's him doing it. And now we'll go back onto the site, hold a completely different spot to what he was playing before. Timing, though, doesn't work out. I don't think he expected Tabson to be that far around the corner. And now the leader of Big has a chance in this 1v2.
Tabson, no utility, 52 HP. There's a Molotov and 2 smokes on the CT side, so he has to get at least 1 frag before they throw something down. They're weary of this. They know that there's a possibility of him being there. And now he's going to get on the flank.
Smart. It's aware from Tessus, but he doesn't manage to hit the shots. And now Tabson has brought this down to a 1v1 past the Molotov bumper up. He started off this round. He'll close it out as well in the nick of time. Only a millisecond left on the clock, and Tabson with a fantastic attempt. It's 13-11. Heroic still in the lead, but just barely.
Very important frag from Borg, this one. Also that he gets the double as well, but he denies Keto and then he denies the banana control. Good round for Borg. The money is good for Big still, so they can continue to buy in this one. The next one is going to be a buy as well, but this is going to be tough times if Heroic get this one to go. They're also getting kind of low on money, so this one could actually be a swing round. If Big gets this one, they're going to be on 12 and they're going to probably be on an economical advantage for the next one. Let's wait and see here. Cadian in middle, posted up, will be flashed away. Molotov would block his opponents unless they smoke themselves, but he gets away in just time. Holding the angle now on too long.
Cadian nails the shot onto Keto. He's been the bane of their life over the last few rounds, so I'm sure they'll be quite happy to take this down. That's a really nice flash from Zantares. Tabson will isolate the duel, and Sound trying to hold the cross. Looking for one, but in fact, they're going to go pushing onto him. They want to try and remove him from this position. Zantares so quick with the headshot now allows them the potential to wrap around towards B. There's a solo defender. Barup did well in the last round, but this is going to be much tougher, and Tabson doesn't even give him a second to think. Already the B site will fall, and the economy for Heroic isn't great. They can't go for this.
I have to save these 2 weapons to get something going in the next round. Tessus grabs an AWP, so that's a good sign. They can get Cadian on that. It's not going to be the best of buys. You can see already now, Big are very aware that they can sacrifice at least 1 player into this, and it's not going to affect them negatively money-wise. So they're going to try and let Zantares spot out. Let him see what he can do. And now a flashbang comes in from his teammate. AWP still not removed. Tess is not usually an AWPer, and he's not hitting his shots right now. Tabson with one as well. Tess is so pressured. There's nothing he can do but hit. The no-scope. Tabson comes in, and in the end, it will be a round when no weapons are brought into the next one. So it's going to be a full eco here from Heroic. Big are going to be allowed to reach number 13, I feel like, unless a Deagle miracle happens, but I highly doubt it.
And they're not even going to invest much into any pistols at all. It's a single flashbang. Wonder if I was expecting maybe with just a flash that we might see that mid stack. I'm a big fan of that sort of crossfire, especially with how much pressure we've seen Big putting onto the A site in recent rounds. But at the same time, equally as good with a B stack. And while this all this really comes down to is how good Big are with their information gathering. I would say if they do go pushing into this crossfire, then they've made some mistakes in the round with their read. And it's going to be understandable for them that they know that the economy of their opponent has taken a hit. So realistically, if there's nobody throwing any grenades, there's no map control taken, you can probably make a pretty educated guess that this is an eco round.
Nothing seen so far on both sides. We have Tizian and Zantares on towards the A side, and Keto leading the troops towards this B one. And smoke does go down, but there's no reaction here. Secondary smoke towards Coffin. Are they going to go in? The second that they spot someone, they'll probably back all the way on out. Nope. They're staying there right now. They're taking a lot of damage. And that's 2 weapons down. The bomb will retreat, but 2 weapons grabbed. Will they get the bomb as well? Oh my god. Tom, this is not happening. This is not happening.
Smaller chance with these sort of pistols. You might have to eat your words. It's down to Zantares and Tizian to try and turn this back. There are 5 men on Banana for the CT side. They even have a smoke to try and hold them back, and they're going to boost over the top. Barup has caught another one. And Tizian, well, he'd have to almost double his kills to win this round. No time. Heroic have just won with a single CZ and 1 flashbang.
That is insane. That is... This is one of the rounds when Big will obviously, even if they win or lose this match, they're going to review this afterwards. They're going to look at this round and say, how on earth did this happen? Like, this we cannot allow this to happen. Never again. Like, this is just... That's just not okay. And yes, of course, Heroic are hitting some 6 shots. I'll give him that, but this is mainly due to Big's mistakes here.
I don't think you can put it down to much more with a mostly USP round. No. Nice shot from Cadian. Searson is gone. Tessa's also pushing down mid. I think he might have been spotted, though. And yeah, Tizian gets that one for free. Nico continuing this aggression. They're feeling confident now, but it might just bite them in the butt as we end up in a 3-on-3. Stound's still playing further towards Bernardo than maybe he should be, especially now being the solo man. I think he realizes it himself. This needs to be a little bit more passive.
1-1-1 split with Borb towards Long, who can rotate very quickly the second that Stound sees something. The rotation is going to come back. Can Stound get this frag? He's just aiming a little bit too high or too low. Santaris jumps above him. And it's going to be the plant. 3v3 post plant, but Stout is going in. Grabs one very early on in this retake. Will not be denied by the Molotov, but the nade will kill him.
He caught that one, so I'm sure he's won a prize somewhere in the world, but not too helpful in this clutch situation. Tabson again, but it's into the 1 versus 1. Zontaras facing off against Cadian. He's not cleared the angle, and Zontaras peaks. Well, it has its own group on Steam for a reason, and that will be
Cadian is a great
14 to 13.
Cadian is a great player, but in a 1v1, in this kind of situation, I'll take Santaris any day of the week. Like, his aim is just almost next to no one's. Like, it's so good.
It really does seem to be coming down to individuals in different rounds. We've seen a few from Keto. Pestes is up there as well. Tabson was the man in that round that we were focusing on. 3 kills as they go entering into the site. Once again, there's going to be a weaker purchase on either side. It's Tizian with a Mac 10, who might just be looking to try and be a bit cheeky around the apartments. It's somewhere where that gun is more than viable. And on the other side, well, Barup, I don't think he's picked up his CZ to be cheeky. I think it's just because he doesn't have the cash.
This timing on the Molotov is good. We'll force Tizian away. Now the rotation comes in. Aggressive utility usage towards the apartments will force 3 of the players in mid towards the banana, which is what Heroic wants in this sense. They want to do something to kind of show that there's presence on A side. Now they're actually going to be retaking banana early on. We have 2 players. It's going to be Borb and Cadian. Just looking at banana, seeing nothing, and then rotating almost everyone away from the site. Where does Big go now?
Oh, we spoke about their CT side having the right reads. I think with on their T sides, a lot of the time they've had the wrong one. The bomb's still hesitating.
It's the mid
direction? It looks like they're going to go back to the A site. But there's a rotation going back the other way, so there's only going to be 2, maybe 3 in the foremost down. The problem is the time. 15 seconds. Tessus could end this, but Tabson again gets the opener. Nico's at least found one on the cross, but he's stuck completely blind. Timing is everything, as they will get themselves the bomb down. A 3 versus 2. The AWP might just be worth keeping here for Cadian. You can see Barup pushing a little bit further up. He's hoping to try and retrieve a weapon, but once again, Heroic are going to be left without the finances on their CT side. And, well, I imagine they're going to have to try and go for something.
That was such a weird round. It all came down to the last, 15 seconds in that push. And you could see both in-game leaders on both teams were kind of not sure what to call in their mid-round. Not sure what to do, not sure how to react. It will be Big who comes out on top. And Heroic... Tabson actually dies from that. Okay. So this is going to be a full eco for Heroic. An absolutely full eco. No one buys anything. But they will have the AWP. They will have the CZ armor. And they will have a timeout here where Hunden can come in and talk to the guys.
That's the thing, though. So you think they'll just let them get to 15?
Yeah. I think there's no way they should buy in this one.
The only thing that makes me question that is that if they buy this round, they can play around the AWP. Yeah. Which they won't have in the next round.
Actually, wait a second, Tom. How much loss bonus do they have here?
I assume only 2,400. So they would have rifles, but they wouldn't have an AWP.
Yeah, I had, for some reason, I had in my mind that I had 3 or 4. So this could be interesting. They could actually buy down here.
I will point out, Risk. There is a wonderful overlay created by the guys at DreamHack that it's there on the screen and it shows you when there's a pause.
So what you don't know about me is that I wear glasses, so I can't see anything. I'm basically blind. I just see interesting colors and then just trying to say something.
Pretty. It's a weird one, actually.
Yeah.
So Teslas has bought.
Yeah.
Cadian's dropped some pistols for the rest of the team. Nico's bought Kevlar. And then Stown has invested nothing. Obviously, so has Barup because he saved that from the previous round. So, if anything, I would call this the worst of both worlds. But what we're seeing, that's not the start they wanted. Tabson on the entry has been phenomenal, by the way. An unsung hero for Big over the last few rounds. And Well, this is a save. They've already lost the site. The AWP has been retrieved. There's no way they get anything. And whilst down, out of all the players to die, I think that was probably the best case. He didn't have any Kevlar, only had a flashbang. So the remainder will at least get to keep their guns. But it's still going to kind of suck into the next round. You're going to have Tessus with all those grenades still kept. And maybe he can buy either an SMG or a FAMAS or something on top of it with the extra loss bonus. But this is going to be horrible. And for the side of Big, well... 5 alive, if anything, is overkill. So 4 would be absolutely fine. Anything he can get would be great. And while Barup on just 1 HP, is very lucky to be alive.
They're actually going to keep hunting. They know that they can sacrifice one more player for this. Oh, okay, Nico. Oh, what? That makes no sense. But Nico gets it to go.
He's cheating. Definitely. That's disgusting. One of those is enough. The second one...
This one here.
And okay. This one. No, the last one. What?
Nice. But I think the idea was that they were going to have 2 decent rounds. They had some utility in the round with the AWP, and they could play off the AWP. If they didn't get anything, they were safe. And in this one, if they brought the AWP into this one as well, they would have a decent buy with some FAMAS, some SMG and stuff like that. And it seems to be the case. Instead of saving fully up.
Oh no.
Okay. Plenty of damage done towards the banana. But Borb also taking a chunk. So this is all square in my opinion. Like anything could happen in this round.
I think sort of rounds where the in-game leaders make their money, I guess.
Yeah. I think the most likely is that Big just wins this one. It becomes 16-14. But Kaden is still here with the AWP. He hasn't shown a lot in this game, so he can just bring some of what he did yesterday or the day before when we saw them last time. Like, there's a chance that this one could go to OT, but I think the most likely right now is that Big wins it.
Oh. Chris trying his best to jinx the Germans as much as humanly possible going into this round. Definitely not a biased Dane trying to work some voodoo magic, but...
I actually really like Big Clan.
Oh, yeah.
I was the only one on the broadcast who remembered it was Santaris' birthday the day before, so when we did...
Yeah, you also predicted Heroic, so you can't like him that much. Nice push, though. That's impactful from Tessus. Tizian is gone. There's a rifle to be retrieved, and the apartment's now under their control. Are they going to wrap back to B? This has been a hole in their defense, but the problem is the time. Again, we're getting down to the 15-second marker. Keto has everything to do. The first kill, that's maybe enough. They need to just trade out onto Stout, but he drops one more, and the time is ticking. They have to go for the plant. If he denies it, he wins the round, but they get it just down with a couple of seconds to spare. Even still, though, it's a 2 versus 3.
Oh,
Tapson going to try and get a little bit more aggressive.
This is perfect for Big.
Doing the same. As they look for the peak, it's awkward, but Tapson just about wins it. He misses the shot, though, and gets a second chance. It's into a 1 versus 1. Nico facing off against Thierson. Probably both the players you'd want in this scenario. He's just going to tap the bomb. The tech now comes out. But the shot's not being connected.
He has no kick.
Let's go! And it's Thierson to hit the headshot and give the victory to Big. It was a very close match in the end, and some ridiculous rounds won. And that is one hell of a way to close it.
Oh wow, what a game on Inferno. And Nico doesn't have a kit in the end. He could probably have diffused it in the smoke if he had that kit. It doesn't work out for him. I have to say, Big in that beginning, in the first half, very disciplined, and in the end here, making all the correct decisions, playing very, very well. So I feel like they deserve it. I'm very, very happy for them. Heroic will have a ton of work to do now that they're heading in onto +2.
Wow, that's going to be the big thing, and I can't wait to see the desk try and pick one round to break down for the desk segment, because there's about 15 I think you could choose. We'll see which one they're going to go for after a short break.
A solid start for Big as they steal Heroic's map pick in a nail-biting victory. Close, but no cigar for the Danes, and it was almost too tight to call. Dust 2 will be up next, but before we do that, we have got to break it all down here on the desk. Alex, we were speculating the form of Big coming into this one. Historically, it hasn't really been a strong map for them, but they certainly proved their form, particularly in those crucial final moments.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The individuals were popping off. That being said, Tizian still having a pretty bad game right now. And that is a little bit of a concern moving forward for this big team because he was doing quite well at the previous tournaments. But I looked at his hours and he only has 36 hours in the past 2 weeks. Not a great look. You'll see him at the bottom of the scoreboard here with just 8 kills, but the rest of his team is really showing up. Xantarez, of course, you can always count on him. Tapsin as well. The rest of the gang, all above 20 frags.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really crucial point, is because that's something that we've really been singing Big's praises for, the ability to sort of spread the kills quite evenly across the board, all be showing up when they need to. I feel like maybe they could have closed out earlier if Tizian had really been showing up, but again, we can't all blame it on one player. I think we do need to sing some of Heroic's praises in that, though. There were so many rounds that they shouldn't have any business being in, and Heroic did manage to steal some crucial kills, and I think everybody had an impact on that.
Yeah, absolutely, Freya. I mean, we have to remember Heroic, they lost both pistols on this map, on their map pick. That certainly put them at a back foot. Now, to kind of even that out, they did end up winning those 2 eco rounds that, as you mentioned, they had no business winning. I really appreciated Heroic's trading ability. They made Bigs all of their proactive, aggressive CT plays almost not even worth it. They were able to trade it out, punish them on every front. So that's how they postured and put up those rounds on their T side of things. So it was really great to watch. Unfortunate at the end.
Yeah, it was incredibly unfortunate. We couldn't quite believe it in the green room when Sirson hit that shot. That was unbelievable. But Posta, I think you have picked one moment from this incredible series to break down for us.
Yeah, it's just such a simple round. I wanted to reflect on this pistol. Take a look at all 5 members of Big. You can see that they all have armor. All 5 team members have the armor, so that kind of gives you an idea that they just want to stick together. They want to trade it out. Searson, he's leading the charge. Look how wide he swings these angles. Look how committed he is, trying to draw the fire of all the defenders. He even does a little hop, skip, jump here, allows Tapson to get involved. And that's what I really like to see. I like to see the entriers taking on the role, honing in on those angles. So if we can go to the point of view of Searson, you're going to see his movements. You're going to see how wide he takes these angles when he jumps, and that's all just to allow his second and third members to get involved into the action as well. Searson's not really looking for the kills. Of course, he has great aim, so he's gonna get these kills, but he's kind of the sacrificial lamb, and that's how it kind of goes in CS as the entrier. So I love to see the superstar in Searson taking on that role on this pistol.
It is absolutely beautiful to bear witness to, but a player that we actually didn't really hype up too much before the game, but showed a lot inside the server was Keto, wasn't it, Alex?
Yeah, Keto did excellent work on the side of Big. He had some huge rounds for them. Even when Heroic was throwing some excellent game plans against Big, actually countering some of their takes and plays. We can see here how this round progressed, how Stown was able to smoke out a Molotov, but Keto here at the new box, the way he locked this position down, it shows why Big is the #1 team, that even when the game plan doesn't go according, it can still come down to the individuals and how strong they play. Keto there getting just 4 kills, really with no assistance whatsoever. He just stayed at new box and hit every single shot.
Yeah, it was so smart of him to take those peaks individually. It was looking so good from him. But that being said, we do still have one more map, potentially 2, but it is going to be Big's pick of Dust 2. Potter, if you're Heroic, you've just come off such a close loss. What are you going to be focusing on going into map number 2?
Certainly, I don't think I would change up much. If I'm Heroic, I'm not satisfied with that loss, of course, but it was so close. Heroic made all of these rounds possible, even with Big's defense, even with their proactive play. So I think Heroic are in an okay spot going into Dust 2 here. They just got to be careful of Searson, man. On this Dust 2, Searson and Keto, both of these ops on both side ends of the map, it can be really deadly. So Heroic need to make sure their trade game is on point. I don't think they're going to have too much of an issue with it, though, because their Inferno just showcased how strong their trade game is.
Yeah, especially against the #1 ranked team in the world. And we're going to see if they can take them down on Big's map pick, no less. It's Dust 2, and it's all coming up after this.